Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda. This is my pug Watson. I am a disabled neurodivergent woman. I have autism, ADHD, aphantasia, which means I cannot visualize or experience any of the senses in my mind, and I have a rare memory disorder, and I talk about all of these on my channel. So a little context for today, if you're new here, welcome. I am recovering from foot surgery, and so this is kind of what I'm calling my recovery nest, and it's going pretty well. Yesterday was 1 week post-op, but on my last video I was talking about how I think that recovering from surgery and even like illnesses sometimes takes autistic people longer because we are also having to process changes of routine and sensory information. And I sent off an email to the psychologist who diagnosed me because we kind of stayed in touch, and because I told him I couldn't really find much research on this and if he could point to me more information, and he said absolutely that he thinks this is a thing, and he had some paperwork that he plans on sending to me, but he hasn't had a chance to yet. But you know, anyway, so that was just a cool update. But as far as this video goes, this is going to be one of my Amanda kind of just rambles videos. My Amanda rambles videos are so good to do if you just need a voice to listen to while you're working on like an art project, doing dishes or laundry, anytime you might need a body double just to have someone to listen to while you're doing a task. So, and don't click off because these are sometimes my most interesting ones. Watson, we're not going to bark at the car going by. We're not going to do it. We have self-control. Because think of it as like a first draft. These are like the videos that, you know, you don't see. Most YouTubers, you're supposed to have when you're putting a YouTube channel out there, like make sure that your video has a point and that you start with your title and then you go from there. Well, I'm not doing that a lot of times. Because when I try to force a point, then my thoughts aren't quite as fluid sometimes. Sometimes if I just kind of ramble on and then by the end I'm like, oh, this is what I talked about, and then I make that my title. Sometimes I let y'all know that that's what I'm doing, and sometimes I just kind of, you know, gloss it over and, you know, act like I know what I'm doing. But I just want to show up as my authentic self, as a late diagnosed autistic person who is just sorting out life. I haven't done a video about having aphantasia or my memory disorder, I don't think, in a while. Memory disorder, I should have scrolled back and looked. But I got an interesting comment on Facebook today, and so that's kind of what's in my mind right now. I had posted, somebody had asked on Facebook in an autism group, they were saying, it feels like it's taking me longer to get over being sick. Does anybody else experience this? And I'm like, oh, hello, I literally just made a video about that. Well, in this group, you can't post the video, but I was able to just say, my channel is I Am Mind Blind if you'd like to look it up. Well, I got this comment. Whoa. I'm going to edit on my phone today again. I don't really have access to my computer very much while I'm recovering because it's just hard for me to sit up for very long. So I'm kind of editing laying down on my phone. But I'll try to put the comment here with my phone editor. Anyway, so I get it. It wasn't on an autism board, so there wasn't really context for the I Am Mind Blind. But her comment was so rude. She was like, why would you call yourself I Am Mind Blind? I would never follow somebody, and I'm kind of paraphrasing right now because I'm not looking at the quote, but who doesn't have anything, it makes it seem like you don't have anything valuable to share. And obviously I'm feeling like this woman doesn't have context to what aphantasia is, which is one reason why I do this channel, because aphantasia isn't super widely known. It's more and more people are learning about it, but I didn't even know about it until I was 38. It was only just recently discovered. I want to say 2016, but I'll have to look that up because, again, memory issues. So I gave her some context because that's a thing. Like, autistic people, we need context for things to make sense. And sometimes when we push up against something that doesn't fit into what we already know, our brains just can't process that. We don't have a way to put it somewhere. And so we have a harder time understanding that information. And if you can supply us more context, then we can be like, got it. So I supplied her some more context about what aphantasia was. And so when I first started this channel, I thought I was mostly going to be making videos about aphantasia and my memory disorder. I'm not really sure because sometimes I'm like, how do you talk about literally having no senses in your head? There's only so much you can say about it. But I was getting interest on Instagram talking about this subject, and so I was like, I'll just start a second YouTube channel. Why not? Let's have fun. And it was only like a month maybe later that I learned that I was possibly autistic. And it was actually really awesome timing because this channel really has become a diagnosis journey of like a late diagnosed autistic woman who went from having no idea, like it wasn't even a thought in my head that I might be autistic, to very quickly at the starting of this channel going, oh, am I autistic? But I didn't start the channel with that intent, like, oh, I'm going to do a video, a vlog processing this. Like, I started the channel for one subject, but because autism and then I found out it was also ADHD are also neurodivergencies, and having aphantasia and SDAM, severely deficient autobiographical memory, are also neurodivergencies. I'm like, hey, let's just roll with it and see where the channel takes us. I've just like, anytime I think about like the support and the community that my tiny little channel here has, like, I love it. This channel brings me so much joy, every time someone comments, I love commenting back to you all, and I love when people question. And okay, I'm getting on a tangent. I'm gonna go back to that lady's comment, and then maybe if I can remember, I'll cycle back. Comments are important to me. Dialoguing, getting to know somebody. Like, I wasn't offended that this person asked me the question, like, why would you call yourself that? That didn't offend me at all. Like, to me, being able to openly ask people questions to see where their thought process are, because when we assume something about somebody, that's when things can go wrong. So being able to genuinely ask a question of somebody with an open heart and a listening ear, to me, is how we bridge gaps and like get to know people who are different than ourselves. But her follow-up sentence about you have nothing important to share if you call yourself mind blind, that was just rude without waiting for me to come back with some context for her about being mind blind, what that actually means. It doesn't mean I'm mind empty. My mind is so full of thoughts. It has no imagery. And so people who have aphantasia, a lot of times in our community, we say we're mind blind because we have the first case studies of aphantasia were just visuals only, and then it expanded and they learned that people could also have other missing senses from their mind too, and that's where I have like the global or the total aphantasia. At first it was being called, and it's kind of been a progression because in the community, and I don't know where the scientists are as of this whole video, but at first the scientists thought it was just visuals, and then community started talking about it, and we realized that, hey, I can't hear sounds in my head, I can't smell things that aren't present in the room, and we realized, oh my gosh, we're 5 sense aphants. But then people started talking about other senses. So we have more than 5 senses. We have interoception and oh gosh. So yeah, in Amanda's Rambles video, since I haven't prepped, sometimes I don't have the right word on the tip of my tongue. It's proprioception. So it's your internal senses, like knowing whether or not you're hungry or you're need to go into the bathroom. These are like interoception, and they're calling that a sense now. And then proprioception. Sorry guys, I cannot think of the word right now. But it's knowing where your body is in space. And a lot of autistic people struggle with these 2 senses. And then, so I don't know, global aphantasia covers the 5 senses. I also struggle with those 2 internal senses. I don't know if it's because of autism or aphantasia, but regardless, I struggle with all of the senses that scientists have discovered. So, when I wrote back to this lady, kind of giving her context, and then she writes back and says, we have different neurotypes, we have nothing in common, and that's okay. I just left it at that, because the thing is, yes, we're both autistic. Obviously she can visualize, and that was too much of a difference for her to get to know me. And not everyone is going to want to get to know me, and that's fine. But I just found it kind of dismissive. I don't know. I'm not judging. I know autistic people, we struggle with social interactions. When you're talking then through text, there's no tone indicators, like I'm having to put in a lot of references or inferences to her comment like that. But it wasn't overtly rude. Like you have trolls and you can just brush them off because they're like so left base. You're just like, whatever, you're just being mean to be mean. This woman was just dismissive, like, oh, we're different, I don't need to know you. And that is actually a little bit more hurtful, I think, than what some trolls could do. And I agree, like, not everybody is going to like each other. And it's good to be clear about that. But out of 2 interactions, and then her just saying, we have different neurotypes, we have nothing in common, like, I don't know. It was just dismissive. And obviously, she's not my people, right? Oh, hi, Milo. Are you going to come up here? Oh, I can't reach my camera to show y'all, but my son's service dog just came in the room. Last night, I got a comment from, I think, one of my followers on this channel. I don't know if she follows me or not. And again, she was asking questions like, hey, I was on my video about autism affecting family members. And she's like, I hope I'm not crossing, oh, here he is. Here's Fluffy Milo. Not crossing any personal boundaries, but I wanted to like give you my thoughts on it. And good boys, no barking. Oh, so good. That's so hard not to bark at the cars that go by. We are working on that. And as far as boundaries go, I'm sure that there's going to be a question that somebody asked me at some point. Isn't this mug so cute, guys? My mother-in-law got it for me for recovering from my surgery. Okay, sorry. ADHD brain. I'm learning boundaries. That is one thing that I realized as a late diagnosed autistic person. Part of my mask was not having boundaries with people, because like I say, my programming was to be a nice girl, to make other people comfortable at the expense of my own comfort, and just kind of like blend in and go under the radar of, don't make waves. And so that created in me not learning how to create boundaries with people, because I was always putting other people's comfort ahead of my own, and I was always just doing whatever I could to get people to recognize me, want to be friends with me, which kind of goes back with that other comment, right? Like, it's so ingrained into me to want other people to like me. And I think that's human nature too, but a lot of it was my mask. It was a survival mechanism because there's so much loneliness in my life. So anytime somebody shows me any interest at all, I had to hold on to that and like grab onto it and okay, my dogs just went insane with a truck that pulled up. But anyway, so I kind of sort of lost my thought, but I was thinking about boundaries and not being able to learn or create boundaries from people. And it's something I'm currently working on. Oh yeah, so a comment. So when people ask me comments or leave comments, for one thing, I feel like as a YouTuber, I am putting myself in a position of trying to be open and share. And I'm sure at some point there will be something that's like, I don't feel comfortable, like I have a right to certain levels of privacy. But I've always been a very open person. That has been something that is just part of, I think, who my core personality has always been. Part of my mask was to not share as much as I actually wanted to share because, again, society sometimes like pegs these overshare type people as being narcissistic and that, oh, you only want to talk about yourself. But it comes from a place of wanting and trying desperately, again, to connect with people because that's a lot of times how autistic people do connect with each other. It's like, oh, I share this information and then you share a relatable story and then, oh yeah, and then it's an empathy thing and we go back and forth and it just makes sense. But to a neurotypical person, that's not how conversation works, apparently. And so I've learned a lot of times just to not try not to overshare. But I love talking about my experience so that I can hear what your thoughts are about my experience, and then so that I can then learn about your experience. And then so when people leave comments that are, and I actually want to like bring this up because I've had some people in my comment section apologize for the length of their comments, and that's, no, I love those. When I get the big long ones, I'm like, ah, yay, because so many times in our artistic, if you're one of my autistic followers, it's because we apologize for our lengthiness because we've been told, keep it brief, keep it short, you're going on too long, you talk too much. And no, no. We love it. We love it. We love all the context. We love all the information. You know, don't apologize for, and that's something I'm learning myself. I mean, I am way far from perfected. I've even, in a lot of my videos, I apologize for the length of my videos sometimes because it's been drilled into me from other YouTube creators. Oh, you have to keep your videos short and to the point and stay on one topic. And these are the things that if you want to be a successful YouTuber, you have to do. But it's not me. I'm an autistic YouTuber that has ADHD who goes on tangents and sometimes likes to give backstory and a lot of context because a lot of my followers need that kind of context, and I can't sometimes tell a story if I don't give the context. Like, it's just how our brains work. And I love it when somebody who is not autistic comes onto my channel and asks questions because I'm very open to trying to bridge that communication gap between how a neurotypical person processes information and how an autistic person processes information. So it's funny, I really didn't have a just like where this video was going to go. I knew I kind of wanted to talk about that comment on Facebook, which I thought would lead me down an aphantasia spiral, but it really brought me back to autism because that's another tangent. That's why a lot of autistic people prefer identity first language. That means I am autistic, not I am a person with autism. I'm not just a person that has a like little purse of autism here that I can just set down when I don't need it anymore. Autism is how my brain is, and it's just how it affects every aspect of my life. And I'm learning that, learning more about my diagnosis and learning what it means to be autistic and ADHD. So anyway, thank you so much, guys, for, you know, watching this video, commenting, sharing, being a part of my journey. I know a lot of y'all are also late diagnosed and y'all are going through these journeys yourself. So feel free to leave as many comments. Like a lot of times with my ADHD brain, I comment as I'm watching a video, because if I try to wait till the end of the video, like I am not going to remember the things that I wanted to say from the point that the person said at the beginning of the video. And so that doesn't bother me at all. If you want to leave a bunch of comments, leave as many comments as you want. I have finally learned how to find comment threads. Like I wasn't getting notification on a comment thread. And I think I finally figured out how to do that. But I do try to respond to most comments, unless, you know, somehow I do miss some. That's just the nature of the beast. And, oh yeah, feel free to ask questions as long as they are where I feel like they're coming from a place of genuine interest, respect, and wanting to learn about each other. Then I'm usually going to be open to answering it. So, there's Milo. Okay. Until the next one, guys. Bye.